Okay, we've got here is your standard Garmin eTrex. These are about $100 GPS. We like them a lot for doing field work because they're inexpensive. And rather than buying a more expensive one, you can buy a couple of these in case something happens to it. To get started, we've got to go ahead and put some batteries in it. To do that, flip it over and you'll see this little bail on the back. Got to get a fingernail in there and flip that up and then turn it. Okay, counterclockwise. And then this will lift out. And now we can put a couple of batteries in there. Any AA batteries will work, but you do want to make sure they're oriented, matching the plus minus in the bottom of the GPS container, battery container. Slide them in there. Okay, and then this is a little tricky. There's a little hook here in the base of the GPS and a matching flange here on the back piece. We want to make sure that's in. Then it should slide right in. We can turn, and now it's secure. Okay, so now before we go out into the field, one of the things that's easy to happen is to lose these. You look at it, it's black, yellow. Seems like good colors, might be good colors indoors. But if you drop this in tall grass out in the field, it's pretty much it. It's gone. Your day's ruined. So it's good to carry extra ones, but the other thing you can do is you can attach some surveying tape. Stop by your local hardware store. They have lots of different colors of this stuff. And go ahead and just pull off a piece. Don't get yellow. Bright red, orange. Any unnatural color will work. Something you won't see in the field, so green, brown, yellow would be bad. Roll up a little bit of the end, slide it through, and tie it off. And now, you're never going to lose your GPS, right? Because you're going to drop it in the grass and this big ribbon's going to show up and off you go. Okay, so now we're actually good to go in the field. The only thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you carry extra batteries with you. And if you're going to be anywhere that's wet, make sure you put it in a baggie. You can operate them inside of a bag. So there's only really 3 controls we're going to use. The back button, the power button, and this little joystick here. Go ahead and push the power button. And you should see Garmin. If you don't, it's probably because the batteries are in the wrong orientation or they're dead. Now, up here we have back, and then we have this joystick. The joystick takes a little while to get used to, but what it does is it moves us around these setup screens, okay? And it's really important. You just push on the side of it, back and forth, up and down to move around, okay? Then when you push down on it, it's going to select whatever it is selected. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to change our position format. When you receive the eTrex, the position format is going to be geographic, lat long, which you can use, but I like to use UTM because I can see the meters move and I have a pretty good feel for how long a meter is on the ground, and I can see that my GPS is working where I'm at. So I'm going to change it to UTM, and I did that just by moving up and down to find UTM. Now the really important one is the datum. This is currently set to NAT83, which is fine if that's what you want to use. The most important part is you want to set it and never change it while you're in the field. If you do, your GPS will have data that's in 2 different datums, and there's no way you can tell, and you really just have to throw that data set away. Now, you notice I scrolled for a while. There's a whole bunch of datums. Here's my favorite, WGS84, and I'm just going to click to set that. Okay, now, if you click again, it'll just take you back into that screen. That's no problem. But this is where you want the back button. The back button is going to take us out of that screen, and then take it back to the main screen. If you ever get lost using this, just go ahead and hit back button a few times, and you'll be back to the main screen. Now we're going to be marking waypoints in a second, but a lot of folks like to check their satellites. You don't really have to, but if you're in a canyon, if you're having a hard time getting a fix, or you're feeling like your accuracy isn't very good, scroll down to satellite, click, and you're going to see the satellites that you have that is being picked up by the GPS. Now this isn't very many, it's only 3. In fact, that's the minimum. If I leave it on for a while, it's going to pick up more, even though I'm actually inside. GPSs work much better than they used to. We're actually indoors here, and it will pick up enough satellites to get a signal eventually. So that's kind of cool. Now, it's also not showing the accuracy yet. When it gets enough satellites, Okay, it will show us the accuracy. In fact, we're probably not going to be able to do a waypoint until this gets set up. But let's back out and see if we can get a waypoint. Okay, so I'm going to go to Mark Waypoint, and this is really what I'm going to use all the time. In fact, I just leave my GPS set to Mark Waypoint. Click Mark Waypoint, and we don't have an elevation yet, but we do have a easting and a northing. So over here we've got Zone 10 and then Region T. That's a region instead of north. We're actually in Region T here in Humboldt County. Okay, so all we have to do now is simply press waypoint, and it's going to record that waypoint. So when I'm out in the field, what I do is I have it set on waypoint. I click. 124 is the number. Write that down in my notebook. Record something unique about that site so I know what's there. And then click again, and I'm back to the screen. It's that easy. Click. 125. Write that down. And often I'll take several points just so I can kind of get an estimate of the accuracy. Click again and again, and that's just what I do. In fact, you can just hold it in your hand and click, write down the number in your notebook, click again. Okay, and that's it. Turn it off, make sure you save the batteries, and we're good.